Have we been playing Red Dead Redemption 2 wrong this entire time? There have been attempts to beat this game with only certain guns, without any guns at all, and even without killing anyone. But indulge me for a moment as I make the case for why the most entertaining way to beat this game is by not beating it at all. All I have to do is fail each mission checkpoint 3 times, and I'm allowed to skip it. And if I can't find a way to skip it, well, I'll let you know that too. This is part 2 of a series, and we'll use the same rules as part 1. Part 1 is linked in the description in case anyone didn't see it or wants a refresher. And with that, roll tape! What's good, everybody? We open the game's second chapter at the scenic Horseshoe Overlook camp outside the nearby town of Valentine. I received word that some of the gang members had ridden into town, so I go to meet them. The weather is sunny, the temperature is cool, and the roving band of psychotic sheep is present and accounted for. They ran right into my path, even though I had the right-of-way. I go down in the ensuing gunfight, and enemies are led to camp. The missions haven't even started yet, and already I've failed at free roam.
You are a sad man, Arthur Morgan.
The game reloads, and I find that my horse has been critically injured. Faced with the difficult choice of reviving him or turning him into glue, I opt for the latter, as young Jack has recently taken a keen interest in arts and crafts. I'm kidding. I run into town, buy some totally legitimate horse drugs, and revive him. The first mission starts, and what was billed as a manly ballroom brawl turns into a ballroom dance simulator. White people, am I right? The dancing stops, and Arthur is beaten into a new species. And I say, then, it's Javier's turn to try the age-old fighting tactic of let the big guy make an impression of your face in the wooden table. I enjoyed my first trip to Valentine so much, I decided to go back with Uncle and some of the women. Everyone regretted this decision immediately. I make it to town, exact revenge on some sheep for that little stunt they pulled earlier, and engage in a bit of playful road rage with a nearby motorist. The segment of this mission where you have to save Karen from the man in the hotel is challenging for me. This series of videos has a way of turning the easiest mission objectives into the most difficult. After the fight with the man, you are tasked with going outside. I can't use my weapons during the sequence to alert the law, and there is only one working door inside the hotel. The front door. Leaving it will complete the objective and trigger a cutscene. I try to aggravate the clerk by running into him and looting the cabinets around him, but no luck. Unfortunately, I had to use my one lifeline for this chapter and abandon the task. Once I finish this mission, I decide it's time to catch up with Reverend Swanson. He stumbles away from poker game, and I am tasked with finding him. I search everywhere, but he's really good at hiding. I skip ahead to the point where I do find him, and I get into a fistfight.
You killed him! I'm gonna get the law on you!
There's a witness, but I let him run away and report me to the sheriff because, as we all know, the wanted system in this game is fair and balanced. And this isn't a scoring sequence, but can we appreciate how slow this train is going if you don't immediately run up to Swanson when he's stuck on the railroad tracks? The game really tries to give you time to get there and hides how slow the train is going by making it start far away from you. The mission where you hunt the bear with Hosea presents the next big challenge in this run. It starts off easily enough. I abandon Hosea so much, he begins to have attachment issues.
Come on, let's stick together!
But then the game railroads me into a sequence in the stable where I am tasked with getting a new horse for Arthur. As you can see, the back button is disabled during this section, and none of the other buttons work except the ones the game intends for you to press. I even tried starting this mission with no money in my pocket, and what does the game do? Well, of course, it puts $15 in my pocket, which is the minimum amount needed to buy a horse. So I take this horse that I've been forced to buy, and I give it the only appropriate name I can think of in response. Everyone, meet Epic Fail.
Interesting choice.
He's the cheapest horse money can buy, which feels appropriate for a run like this. But don't let his scrawny frame fool you. He too still prescribes to the alpha male school of thought, which believes that Elon Musk is a mentally stable, well-adjusted adult. I set off with Epic Fail and Hosea into the wilderness to hunt rabbits, which goes well.
I have hunted rabbits before, you know.
Yes, and obliterated them with a shotgun, if I remember right. Best thing's a bow or a .22 caliber varmint rifle.
Okay.
Turns out we're really out here hunting Yogi Bear or something, but you can skip this boss fight entirely by not dropping the bait correctly. Neat. I joined John, Bill, and Kieran on a stealth mission to a rival gang's hideout in the woods, stealth being the operative word.
You know what's really quiet? A knife. Okay.
Oh, Christ.
The explosion triggers something deep in Arthur. Doctors refer to it as post-traumatic Forrest Gump disorder.
I gotta find Bubba!
Instead of killing the O'Driscolls, he rushes in to evacuate the wounded to safety? Having learned absolutely nothing about the benefits of stealth, Arthur joins Charles, Javier, and Trelawney in an effort to rescue Sean. We free Sean without too many more incidents, and then the gang has a party at camp to celebrate his return. We sing a wholesome song about pussycats.
Ring-dang-doo, now what is that? It's soft and round like a pussycat. Got a hole in the middle and it's split in two. That's what you call the ring-dang-doo.
The next day, I find out Micah has been thrown in jail. The only rational thing to do here is to take Lenny drinking. This mission has a feature I've never seen anywhere else in the game up to this point. I start drinking with Lenny and then we both get separated, and my objective is to find Lenny. Naturally, I head outside in order to fail this objective when, oh, okay, I black out and I get teleported back inside the saloon. There's a number of things I tried in this sequence. I tried interacting with the different patrons, thinking maybe if I annoy them I can fail the mission that way, but no luck. I barged in on the couple doing that special hug that adults like to do, but you can't fail it for disturbing them as they lock the door after the first intrusion. I tried to give myself fall damage, but the climb button is disabled. I tried waiting for a wagon to come by with the intent of throwing myself under it, but none ever came. Getting on my horse and riding away also isn't an option, as mounting my horse is disabled. And even if I try to lead the horse out of town on foot, I still black out. The closest I came to figuring out how to fail this was when I ran outside and got this horse to kick me by looting its saddlebags, all before I blacked out. There are a few problems with this method, however. For starters, the distance I can run after leaving the saloon before blacking out gets shorter every single time. So I have to time this perfectly on the first attempt or it won't work. Next, and most importantly, the horse wasn't doing enough damage to kill me. And finally, even if it did kill me, I assume I could only loot the saddlebag once. But to be sure I covered all my bases, I restarted the mission and threw myself off this roof a few times to weaken my health. The problem with that is that my health ring regenerates during the cutscene, so the horse still doesn't do enough damage. After spending way too much time trying to get this to work, I decide it's time to move on with my life. Getting Micah out of jail is a straightforward mission that does not present any unique scoring opportunities. The mission is easily skipped by a combination of abandoning Micah, dying, or having Micah get killed. The next mission is different in that there are 3 different paths I can take to clear it, but only one must be taken. I'm talking, of course, about the Debt Collection series of missions from Strauss. I chose the Lily Millet path because it involves a fistfight, and I figured that's a good way to fail an objective, so I let this guy beat me up, then failed to recover the debt to get back in the scoring column. The success is short-lived, however, as I couldn't find a way to get around the objective of donating the recovered debt money to the camp lockbox. I even tried spending all the money in my pockets so I wouldn't have anything to donate, but it still put the money in the box even though I didn't have enough money on me to cover the debt. And if I run away from the ledger and refuse to purchase any upgrades, the game puts me back at the point of purchasing upgrades and not at the point of donating money. The second part of this mission, however, does allow me to let off some steam as I attempt to save Arthur from the unsanitary experience of getting coughed on.
Mr. Thomas Downs, you owe me money.
It doesn't work. I go meet with Hosea at Emerald Ranch. This shady fellow tasks us with stealing a wagon from a family member. Here I see something else I've never seen before. Normally, all I have to do is ride 50 yards or so, and the mission will fail because I abandoned the objective. But here, it looks like Rockstar either forgot or chose not to program a distance from the objective that I have to travel before the mission will fail. Hosea follows me halfway to Sisika
What the hell, Arthur?
before my horse finally gives out and I drown. We finally get to the house, rob it in perfect stealth, look out, there's a fly,
We're being robbed.
and leave without incident. Micah asks for help robbing a stagecoach, and I gladly accept. John had asked me earlier to get an oil wagon for a train robbery, which I'll come back to later. But first, did you know you don't have to do the part of this mission that involves stealing the oil wagon? If you wait and do other missions first, John will secure the oil wagon all by himself.
You never got us that oil wagon, did you? Well, don't worry. It's taken care of.
Before I go do that train robbery, I take Jack fishing at Abigail's request. I greatly misinterpret the youngster's capacity for adventure and steer the horse off a cliff thinking he'll have a good time. He did not have a good time. Something incredibly strange happens at the end of this mission. When it comes time to take Jack back to camp, I rode into the water with Jack on my horse. This somehow caused my horse to die. Somebody make that make any sense.
It's just basic chemistry, yo.
And furthermore, since I skipped the checkpoint, not considering that my horse would still be dead when I resumed normal gameplay, everyone, I have a new horse to introduce you to. Meet Epic or Fail. I take Epic or Fail to meet the gang for some casual nighttime train robbing. With any luck, someone will take the dynamite away from me before I do something I regret. I have done something I regret. I find the basis for this robbery suspect at best. The idea that a train would be able to stop before hitting the wagon is hard to believe. Furthermore, the robbery won't take place if the wagon is in the wrong spot. Even if I move it further down the tracks so the train has more time to see it, the mission still fails because the wagon isn't where the game wants me to put it. The robbery itself also provides an additional scoring opportunity as I can disrupt the robbery by committing a crime. Rockstar logic at its finest. We make a break for it in a fast-paced escape sequence, and the mission ends. In one of the chapter's final missions, I joined John in an attempt to steal some sheep and sell them at auction. To do this, I need to buy a sniper rifle from this gunsmith. My intimidation tactic works, and I'm allowed to pick up the gun for free. Then the time comes to steal the sheep, and I question, what would happen if I don't shoot to scare away the ranch hands? Now we have our answer. But if you thought I was going to let those sheep get away without exacting more revenge for that stunt they pulled at the start of the episode, well then you don't know me very well, do you? But it's the sheep who have the last laugh as they tip off Cornwall's men to our location. John and Strauss are captured, and the only way I can fail this checkpoint is by letting them die. Sorry lads, blame the sheep. The ending to this mission is unusual. It's simple enough to fail the final shootout by getting killed, but no matter how many times I did that, the game never provided me an option to skip the checkpoint. Since the objective is to escape Valentine, I tried escaping the law without leaving Valentine, but that resulted in me completing the mission. Leaving town with a live lawman tied up on my horse also resulted in me completing the mission, even though I don't see how that's escaping the law. Whether not giving me an option to skip the checkpoint was intentional by the developers or an oversight, I'll never know. I debated on even counting this one since I did technically fail the objective, but in the end I decided to man up and I took the 10-point hit. Now the gang has to run away after shooting up Valentine. Charles and I go to seek a new camp near Dewberry Creek, except this is another instance where Rockstar didn't add a maximum distance away from Dewberry Creek that I had to ride before the objective would fail. Charles and I rode all the way to Blackwater, and even then it failed mission for alerting the law, not for riding too far away from Dewberry Creek. We encounter a family of German settlers later in this mission. They are agitated by our presence to say the least, but they seem more scared than dangerous. I decide to test how dangerous they are, and I have to spend the final 2 weeks of filming this video recovering from a bruised ego because I lost a duel to an inexperienced gunfighter.
Then it felt like something just jumped up and bit me.
Stop there! Stop me!
I understand you were wounded. Where were you hit?
In the buttocks, sir.
I'd kind of like to see that.
Real funny.
That concludes the game's second chapter. Comment below with your favorite failure or moment from either this video or from the Chapter 1 video. I look forward to seeing what scenarios Chapter 3 presents for this run in a future project. If you enjoyed the video, try one of the videos on the end screen. And if you really enjoy the content, consider following me on my other socials, be that Twitter, Twitch, or Instagram. Thanks for all the recent support. With your help, the channel has been accepted into the YouTube Partner Program. It's a big milestone, with hopefully many more milestones to come. Thanks for watching, and until next time, make it count.